What's going on, my reefing fam? March here. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Fragbox TV. Today I'm going to talk to you about not water changing on an aquarium. Okay, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are well. I hope your fish are well, your aquariums are well, your corals are growing, you're happy, everyone's happy. I want to talk to you today about water change. I'm going to maybe touch on this later, this tank that we're getting back up and going. Right now, Jonathan over here, hello Jonathan. Hi. Mr. JC is over here testing the nitrate. So this is what we were setting up as our most expensive reef tank, and it's kind of taken a back seat as one of the video series here in the store. I think I bite off more than I can chew sometimes. I kind of like get ideas, grab the camera, start these things, and then I gotta learn to finish what I start. So like the Neptune Apex series, we really got to get those going. Anyways, this tank, why I want to talk about water change today is because I realized we set it back up in April. We're now nearly September, and this little tank has never seen a water change. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. First of all, it's a JBJ 10 gallon. If you're looking for a great all-in-one little nano tank as a beginner hobbyist, or maybe you're looking for a little second tank, a quarantine, a frag tank, it's just an awesome plug and play little system. It comes with this beautiful black stand. It runs $350 roughly up here in Canada, so maybe that's about $270-ish kind of American. Doesn't include a light, but it's all in one, which means the filter is over here in the back. It's all kind of neatly tucked in, and you have no sump, traditional sump underneath the tank. This is just used for storage down here. So that's just, oh, we're using auto top off. So that's just a little background of what's going on, or sorry, what kind of tank it is. But we haven't done a single water change. So usually you want to water change. Hermit, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, I thought he was trying to eat the snail there. There's some Nacerius and it looks like some sort of big hermit. But anyways, normally you want to water change an aquarium, and why we do that in the saltwater hobby. So I don't know where you're watching this from, and I don't know what your level of experience is, so I'll start from the basics. Maybe you've been in the hobby for a long time, maybe you're really new to the hobby, but a water change is basically taking out a portion of the water, a percentage, somewhere between 10 and 30%, taking that salt water out and then adding newly mixed nice clean fresh water back into the system. And why we do that, I say system a lot, sorry, people have said that in other videos. Why do I call it system? It's just kind of my vocabulary, because we refer to everything in the store as like, this is our grow system, our main system, our fish system, invert system. So if you hear me say system, it's really just me saying aquarium. So our aquariums are these closed systems where it's not like the ocean that's got trillions of gallons. We got 10 gallons, that's it, and it's closed. It's just all contained in this white, nice little box. So what happens is we have nutrients that build up over time. And where do those nutrients come from? From the fish, from excrement from the fish. So they're peeing and pooing in the water, and from fish food that gets uneaten. So we're feeding the fish, and then that turns to waste. And so we get a buildup of nutrients and nitrates, and water change can be an effective way to reduce those. So if it gets getting too dirty, high nutrients, kind of another way of saying dirty water, then we water change, and by taking out a portion of the water and adding nice new, it's like through dilution, we're going to lower the nutrients in the water. That's the first reason we do it. The second reason is the salt. So this is just, if you're wondering, this is the salt we use here in the store. This is Red Sea Coral Pro. I've done videos on it in the past. I really like this salt. Great salt. I believe it's 70% actual salt from the Red Sea, and then the remaining 30% is enhanced with stuff that you want in your reef. And that's the salt we're using on the entire store exclusively, just the Red Sea Coral Pro salt. And so that salt has trace elements and minerals and all this stuff that your corals and tank needs to survive and thrive. So those are things like your calcium, your alkalinity, magnesium, iron, potassium, iodide, strontium. All those fun little trace elements are replenished when you're doing a water change. So like I said, you're taking out a portion of the water and you're adding nice new clean salt water in. So it has twofold effect by lowering the nutrients and then at the same time replenishing those elements, because the corals over time, they consume them, and because it's a closed system, we're not getting those elements as they get consumed. They drop in the aquarium as the corals consume them, and if we're not replenishing them, they become these limiting limiting factors for coral growth and coral overall health and longevity. So water change, very important. Now that I've talked about all this reasoning why we do water changes, I'm a little bit contradictory, because the whole point of this video is we haven't water changed this thing. So we set it up back in early April. We're almost September now. That's 6 months. It's never seen a water change. We've never done what I'm talking about, taking it out, and it's looking pristine. So there are a lot of reefers out there that do this, and I think it'll work only in one kind of setting. You can comment below, correct me, or give me your opinions on this. I know a lot of people don't do water change, but if you notice in this tank, we only have soft coral. So over here we have a Kenya tree, some Anthelia, and there's some green star polyps down here, some pulsing xenia, some sort of Nephthia, green one. He's kind of closed right now. I just cleaned the glass for the video. You're welcome. And maybe another blue one in the back hanging out with the cleater shrimp. So these are all soft coral, no skeleton. They have no skeletal structure like your traditional corals have, so they don't need to consume those same levels of calcium and alkalinity to build a calcium structure. And also they thrive in dirtier conditions. So right now we have nitrate, we have Jonathan testing the nitrate. So that's a pretty good indicator of when it's time to change your water. If your nitrate starts to go up, then let's see what we're at. Zero? Look at that, super clean. Ooh, let me see if I can focus. That's almost undetectable. And I'm a little bit surprised. I was expecting more. So this is a good test kit if you're looking for a nitrate test kit. Saliford, I believe they're out of Holland. Oh, they've been making them for a long, long time. It's a very easy test kit to use. It's inexpensive, so the nitrate's super low. That makes sense why we don't have any algae in the tank. We don't feed very heavy in this tank. It's only the one fish and a couple of the essential cleanup crew members, hermits. There's a conch in there, some Nassarius snails. So there's not a lot of input, and there's not a lot of nutrients to be had. And the corals that are in here are probably sucking up or utilizing some of that nitrate. So like I was saying, we're only running soft corals. Soft corals will actually thrive under higher nitrate conditions. Dirtier waters, they're like pigs in shit. They love dirty water. They'll actually grow faster and look plumper and just overall healthier with a little bit higher nutrients. I'm not saying go and muck up your tank and stop water changing and feed heavy, but we're able to get away without water changing because of the fact that it's just soft corals. I think we're going to throw in some zoanthids in here and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and push a year. We'll update again, see if it's possible. Oh, I just noticed there's a nice little long tentacle toadstool leather hanging out back there. I'm not getting enough love. That's actually a pretty cool piece. But how often do you guys water change? You know, there's really no rule when it comes to water change. Damn, I'm gonna just say it. You know what? I'm coming out there, guns a-blazing. There's no rules when it comes to this hobbies, with the respect of a few, you know, like treat the animals like animals, you know, these are living creatures, but there's really no rules to keeping a saltwater reef tank. People always ask me when they're setting up, what's a good book or what should I grab, or the literature on getting into the hobby. There isn't really any that I can think of. So much of it is just trial and error. So on this tank, it's working. No water change. It's looking good. Everything's happy. You go home, you set it up, you copy this to a T. That might not be the case. Every single aquarium is different, even if you set it up in the exact same fashion as we have done here inside the store. So how often should you water change? It's really going to depend on how many fish, how big the tank is, what the nutrients are, what kind of corals. There's so many factors and variables that there's no one size fits all. I think a general rule, a lot of people do like 20% every 2 weeks, 15% every 2 weeks. But again, it's going to depend on the amount of fish. Like a tank like this, look how many fish we have running in this tank. There's 20 something odd fish. It's going to see a lot more food. It may need more water changes. We don't, I can tell you that. I can do videos talking about this as we get it up and running. But like I said, there's no literature, there's no definitive guide for keeping a saltwater tank or water changes as well. So really, where do we get the information? Like I said, trial and error. YouTube is a great source of information too. Watch this channel, subscribe if you like the content. There's lots of other YouTubers out there doing stuff like this. Most of it's pretty good, but everything is it's going to come down to your own experience. And then there's forums. There's Reef Central, there's Reef to Reef. I've learned a lot of what I know from those forums, and you could just also try and meet someone in the hobby and model them and kind of sort of find a mentor. call us, shoot us email, stores like us. There's different ways of learning, but it's all going to come down to your own personal kind of experience. And I thought it would be cool to share this because I'm not of that ideology that you shouldn't water change. I've always thought you should water change. Water changes are great and important, and it's good to kind of get into that rhythm and schedule of changing out water. It's just a basic part of the maintenance of a saltwater tank. But on this tank, it's an exception, and that's what kind of inspired today's video. And I'm going to see how long we can get away with it, kind of without, I guess, without running into trouble. I don't really foresee any as long as we keep doing soft corals. If you start adding hard coral, I don't think that's going to be possible, like SPS and acroporas. They're going to want very clean water, and they're going to want calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. Maybe you could actually. What am I saying? You know what? Maybe you could do it. Maybe you could just dose the elements as they take it up. Maybe that's what we should do. Throw in some acro, and then really see. That would be a true test of how long we can go without water changing. And I feel like that's about it for today's video on this topic. If you guys got any suggestions for other topics, hit us up. You can shoot us an email or in the comments below. But thanks for tuning in to this episode of Fragbox TV.